Hey, everybody, welcome to Friar Territory. Friar Territory is part of the Foul Territory Network. I'm Darren Smith. That is Marty Caswell. The Padres are getting set for game number 2 of their 6-game road trip. They're in Milwaukee, where they dropped the opener. Coming up here, though, more important than any of that, on this show, we are expecting a conversation with Padres closer Mason Miller. Yes, Mason Miller expected to join us from Milwaukee. So that's pretty exciting. He seems to be the it guy. You can't tell the story of the San Diego Padres in 2026 without talking about Mason Miller. So should be a lot of fun, Marty. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
I am too, Darren. And Mason Miller is, number one, always just great to talk to. Really, really good dude. He is the most chill person, right? This is like the most feared reliever in all of baseball, right? Great energy when he comes out. But every time I've talked to Mason Miller, whether it's pregame, after immaculate inning, during his scoreless inning streak, just he's like the same dude, very, very chill. So I'm looking forward to getting to know more about that personality. And listen, I know we want to talk pitching with Mason Miller, the bullpen, everything else, but I know you saw that commercial yesterday that Major League Baseball revealed, right? The Grogu Star Wars commercial. That is amazing. So I can't wait to talk to Mason Miller about his commercial. He's had quite a stretch, a lot going on in Mason Miller's world. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening on the field that we want to talk about.
Yes.
You mentioned the immaculate inning. Also, the other day, just to increase the degree of difficulty, he decided, why not throw a wild pitch so I have to strike 4 different batters out in the same inning?
Right.
So officially he gets credit for an inning and a third. I think that's the way the official bookkeeping works in Major League Baseball. But he did strike out 4 batters in 1 inning, which was incredible. So I do look forward to that. He's had a lot going on here, so we do appreciate a couple minutes of his time.
Mm-hmm.
Marty, obviously dropping the opener leads to some questions that we can get into a little bit later in the show. We can talk a little bit about what the future is. With Lucas Giolito, we can talk about whose spot in the rotation he's going to take. Craig Stammen said after the game on Tuesday night, he said it was just early. And, I think we all have an idea. Everybody has a hunch. But, in this world, when it's A.J. Preller, you don't know. And sometimes things do change between now and the actual point where a decision is made. If a decision had to be made immediately after the game, then that's one thing, but it doesn't. So I do think that there's a little bit of range that you can extend to Craig Stammen when he says it's premature. But I think we saw what we saw, and I think people have a sense of which direction this is going to go. And to his credit, even Matt Waldron after the game seemed to acknowledge that. So we'll see, though, because, again, these things sometimes can take a little bit of a turn. So I mentioned Mason Miller is going to join us, and sure enough, right here in the opening segment, we can go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we can bring in the closer for the San Diego Padres, who is joining us, even though we have a typo in his name. Don't worry about that.
Oh, no.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll blame Marty on that one. We'll clean it up and post.
That's
Mason, thanks for joining Friar Territory. We appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I fixed
I'm
the
not
typo.
going to name the hotel, Mason.
Thanks,
I'm
Marty.
just going to ask, are you guys are you guys still staying in that haunted hotel in Milwaukee or what?
Yeah, they allegedly, yeah.
Do you guys believe into that, or do you guys not so much believe in that?
Depends on who you ask. Yeah, I've heard it's only the one side of the hotel, so I'm on the safe side.
You're on the safe side? Who's on the haunted? Who's on the other side? The offense?
All the guys with suites. I think it's the older. I don't actually know, but I think it's the older. It's like 2 sets of elevators. So who knows?
I've stayed in that hotel.
No reports. No reports.
Okay,
so
good.
far.
I'm glad. Well, Mason, thank you for doing this. We do really appreciate it. And as excited as we are to talk about you, your on-field success, pitching, everything that you got going on in your universe, you're talking to a couple of Star Wars nerds here. So we are going to start with your opportunity to appear in a commercial for the Mandalorian with Grogu. Can you tell us a little bit the backstory about how this happened for you?
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. MLB obviously was doing this partnership with it, and for some reason they wanted me to be the guy. Obviously it's pretty awesome to get a chance to do something like that, and the production of it was on kind of different level than anything I've ever done. So easy, yes. I've seen Star Wars, but I can't say that I fall in the bucket of like an avid Star Wars fan, because I know that that comes with a lot of extra territory of knowing what is going on with the story and stuff. I won't pretend to be that into it, but I have seen it, so it's not like not like I don't know it at all. But out of respect to people like yourselves that really take it to another level, I didn't claim that type of a fandom.
Wait a second. Are you saying out of respect to all you nerds out there? Because that's what you're saying right now. You're calling out the nerds. I think you think now that I'm a nerd because I happen to have, a Baby Yoda picture at my disposal, which I do.
I felt like I didn't use the word nerd because I was being very considerate, but I mean, they say the same thing. They say the same thing about big baseball fans or anybody like that. It's like I'm respecting that fandom, and I'm not going to claim to have the same. I guess, I'm not going to claim that I go to 2 games a year and I know what's going on.
How many takes? How many takes did it take for that spot? That's a great spot, by the way.
We were there for about an hour, and we filmed a bunch of stuff, but obviously it was a pretty short commercial, so it was pretty quick as far as the actual stuff getting shown. It was funny though, because it was like, all right, well, let's do one more, and then it's like, all right, one more for safety. All right, one more, and I feel like that's just what they say. I don't know if they say that to actors too, where it's like they want you to think that like this is your last take, so you're like, all right, I'm just gonna nail this one, and then they're like, they hit you with one more, so I think there was some strategy to that, but it was good. The production was amazing, and I showed up and we were shooting in like probably 6 minutes after I got there, so it was really efficient. So hats off to that team that was there doing it.
And I want to say that was UCSD. At first I thought it was USD, and then upon further inspection it looked like it was the Tritons, right up there in La Jolla.
Yeah, up in La Jolla, about 20 minutes or so from the stadium.
And you had your line was the force was strong with that one, and then you dapped up Grogu. How did you feel like you performed? And I don't know if this was your acting debut or not. Maybe you've been in some commercials and other junctures in your career, but how did you do as an actor, do you think?
Not to this scale. They had me run through a bunch of different lines, like this is the way. Obviously the force was strong with that one. The force is strong with you. So yeah, that's what they went with. Ultimately, Grogu was they had like 4 different people controlling. Like one person was controlling his arms with like a, I don't know, like the thing you see with like a remote control car, pretty much. So the 4 of them were like, one would move the head, one moved the arms, one moved the body. Like it was a very, very intricate thing. They actually almost canceled the shoot that day because Baby Grogu couldn't make it, is what they said. he had another commitment the day before, and he has rules about how much he can travel. So
this is amazing behind the scenes stuff that we're getting from Mason Miller. Man, that is phenomenal. Who was this poor Padre person that you struck out at the plate? I was trying to see if it was somebody that I would recognize, but I'm just guessing this was probably an extra that they pulled off the street.
Yeah, they had several extras. The defenders, the catcher, and they all had brand new. Like the catcher had a brand new glove, and I was only throwing at like 50-60%, so it wasn't anything crazy, but I felt bad because he was back there trying to catch the ball with a catcher's glove that barely was able to squeeze. But they did a good job. They were upfront about it. Like, we just need the like bones of it. Like, we need your throwing motion, but we're gonna do the edit with the ball and everything. So don't worry about where it goes or anything like that.
That was awesome. That was awesome. It really was such a good spot. And I know that you have your entry music, you have Korn, you have that fantastic walkout. But if you were to change it, you couldn't go wrong with maybe too nerdy for you, but you could not go wrong with a Star Wars theme. That ad gave me chills.
Star Wars weekend.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Maybe we'll do something for Star Wars weekend.
I think so. I think so.
Marty's already angling for the marketing job in the Mason Miller camp. You can tell that one.
By the way, speaking of the marketing job, Mason, you've had quite a stretch recently. You have the bobblehead. You got this great bobblehead from the last homestand. You have a deal with Dexcom. Wait, here it is. And the reason why I have this is because my brother-in-law Jack actually designed the G7, the device that you wear right now. So congratulations on all these deals and all the marketing that you've accomplished. That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a good balance too of, like fun stuff, and Dexcom's obviously something that I care a lot about, and really looking forward to working with them, hopefully as long as I'm in San Diego and beyond, just because that's something that affects me so much day to day. That's an easy yes, and then something to the likes of the Star Wars commercial is like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like, let's go for it.
I think it's amazing as well. And speaking of, since before we'll get into some of the baseball stuff, or maybe not. I mean, we don't have to. But one of the things, that Marty's talking about there with Dexcom, and, when I was preparing for this, Mason, is I think everybody by now knows your story. Everybody in San Diego knows your story about being diagnosed with diabetes when you're 20 and how it really and literally changed your career. One of the things I think I didn't realize is I came across a story about how young diabetics are finding a champion in Mason Miller. And I don't know that I realized that you have young fans, correct me if I'm wrong here, pretty much every stop along the way for you as a home player, as a visiting player, fans, young fans in particular who show up, who have been diagnosed with early diabetes, who do see a champion in you and do want to meet you, not just because you throw the ball 105 miles per hour and you're in a commercial, but because you're an inspiration to them. I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about those experiences when they pop up for you, not only in San Diego, but in other places when you're playing.
Yeah, it's an easy yes for me. It's not a huge lift on my end in the PR department of all those guys. I mean, even when I was with the A's, the PR team helped me so much with kind of starting to do this, and then the Padres have also been awesome with it too. Just bring a kid down on the field for batting, get him a batting practice pass. They can watch some batting practice. I'll talk to them for like 10 or 15 minutes. It's like it's a cool baseball experience in and of itself. And usually these kids are baseball fans to a certain degree also. So they get that level of things that's not something that every kid gets to do. But also having the chance to talk to me. I mean, I was 20 years old when I got diagnosed, but I still remember searching like type 1 diabetic athletes on Google and seeing guys like Mark Andrews pop up, who has also done a bunch with Dexcom. And, Dexcom is kind of just allowing me to expand the reach of it. We met at a Warrior Day at Petco and had 8 kids there. So, I've tried to do it as much as I can anytime that it comes up on my radar. And like, I'll see a kid tomorrow here in Milwaukee. And I tell the kids it's just cool for me because, I get to be that person that, I was kind of looking for. And it was a little bit different because I wasn't their age, but in the same light, I saw that there were athletes playing sports with type 1. And at that point, it wasn't even about playing professional baseball. It was just about playing sports in general. And seeing that they have the level of success they do, there's no reason that, I can't figure it out and do it as well. I think the biggest key is just that it was always, we're all different. And, it's an imperfect level of care. It's not like, here's the roadmap and, you're going to be great. It's adjustments and learning and, having conversations too. I think it just gives you so much more confidence to be okay with not being perfect, I guess, and it's difficult for a lot of kids because sometimes it's their parents doing everything and then they have to transition to doing it all themselves. So it's almost like 2 whammies of, getting diagnosed, I guess. Like, they have no idea what's going on when they're 5 years old. So, once they get a little older and they have to start taking over stuff, and there's probably a little bit of disdain for it. And, I think it does put the parents in a tough place because they just want to care for their kids, but it also is like kind of a nuisance to the kid too sometimes, and they don't want to do it. They just want to eat candy like everybody else.
I
Right.
think Jay
Yeah.
Cutler is Jay Cutler is the athlete that comes to mind when I think about some high profile athletes
Yeah,
that
that's right.
dealt with diabetes. Mason, what's the question, the most common question that you get from kids?
Some
Related
kids
with this.
come, like, some kids come loaded up with questions, and some kids don't have, they get super shy, and
Yeah.
usually I just try and ask them what it's like, what they like to do. Probably the one that gets the best answers, in my opinion, is like, I ask them what their least favorite part about having diabetes is and what their favorite part is. And usually, the least favorite part's like, I have to leave class at school to go to the nurse's office, or just waking up in the middle of the night with a low or something to that nature. And um, favorite parts kind of range. I think that question catches a lot of them off guard, And then I just tell them
What
my
is your
favorite part.
favorite part of and
I just
least
tell them
favorite
my
part of
favorite
having
part
it?
is that I get to meet with them and be an inspiration to them. So
Hmm. Yeah, good for you,
I
man. Can
just
you
tell I
hang
mean I
out?
tell them it might not look the same, but
Hmm.
someday you'll have the opportunity to do this for somebody else. And I don't know. I just tell them like I hope that you would do that, because I don't know how much this means to you, but it could be huge. It could be big, or it could be not. But take the time or take the opportunity to talk to somebody about it if you ever get that chance.
Mason, can we pay a quick bill here? Can you hang out for another couple of minutes for us? Is that cool with you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I know you probably got to get up and get rolling for a coffee, so we do appreciate your time. But we'll
Yeah.
just
You
take a
got it.
quick time out, 60 seconds, and we'll come back and we'll do a little bit of baseball here with Mason Miller on Friar Territory. Thank you for doing that. Group chat is going off here, and the Knicks group chat is starting to try to convene in different places around the country to find where we can go and where we can maybe watch the Knicks. I don't know. Eastern Conference Finals. Who knows? SeatGeek is going to have us covered. I can tell you that. That's where we're going to go. We're going to go find seats together. We're going to go grade them out. We're going to go find the best seats we can. We all have the app. We're all scrolling through here because we know it's going to cost a little bit of money. You see the way this fan base travels. But whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, concerts, anything happening, SeatGeek will have you covered. If you're looking for tickets to the best events, SeatGeek is your destination.
Over 70,000 events, including Pink at Petco Park. I mentioned the Dodgers are in town at Petco Park next weekend. And then for all you nerds, Star Wars fireworks on Saturday. It's Mason Miller's favorite event. Go to SeatGeek. That's the place to go if you want to go ahead and take part. The #1 ticketing app, 35 million downloads, Darren.
You guys saw the chaos when it was Mason Miller bobblehead day, I mean, you want to be a part of that. So you got to figure out a way to get in the door. Of course, we have a code for you. Use the code Territory10, 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. 10% off any tickets, promo code Territory10. Click the link. It's in the description. Download the app. Have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it for later. Use our code 10% off for your next SeatGeek order. All right, so we continue with Mason Miller. Mason, thank you. We spared you the question about the chaos on the Mason Miller bobblehead day. Do you remember the first time you threw 100 miles per hour, or the first time that you were clocked throwing 100?
ACL, after I got drafted with the A's that fall. I might have done it in college, but we didn't have like radar and technology and all that stuff that's normal in pro ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, now it's so normal for you. Do you remember, though, like the first time you're like, yo, that's 100. That's triple digits on the board there. My goodness. Do you remember the reaction when you did it? Like you said, you knew you were probably doing it anyway, but to see it officially
Yeah,
documented.
I went back and watched it on the computer, so I have a picture of like the TrackMan log or whatever. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, hitting
It
100 is like, if you're throwing hard, if you're throwing like 97, 98, 99, 90, 95, and then it's like, you're like, I want to hit 100. I want to see three digits.
Mm-hmm. And do you take a peek at the board? I mean, at home or when you're on the road? I mean, sometimes, these road board operators, they'll mess around a little bit with some of it. We've learned throughout the years. But do you look over the shoulder and take a peek to see what it looks like?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some stadiums where it's not super convenient, and there's other ones like Milwaukee where it's on the facade right behind home plate. So, I mean, you're human, so you're not going to miss that one.
I should know this, but how many times have you been involved in an ABS challenge yet this season?
Yeah, several. I think the majority of them have gone my way though.
Okay.
Freddie and Campy have gotten me a couple pitches. And then I think we've also challenged and late in the game, and we have both or one of our challenges left, and Freddie will challenge something that's close that we're both like, that's probably a ball, and usually that one is, but he's gotten some for me, and I don't think there's been a like real bad one that has hurt me, I guess. One was close against the Cardinals, the last I beat against Weatherholt, the 1-0 pitch. Weatherholt challenged it, and it barely caught the inside corner. So that was a big pitch to go 1-1 instead of 2-0.
How much do you trust yourself on the challenges, or you're leaving it to your catchers?
I think I have a pretty good idea, but I don't really have any interest in challenging. Just I feel like it's like if I feel pretty good about it, I think that the catcher's also going to feel pretty good about it, and I've told them that I'm trusting you. You see a ton of pitches every single day. You've seen where umpires are missing pitches. I'm coming into the game, and like visually, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of it. But I don't want to pull the trigger on that and lose the guys a challenge. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think a Padre pitcher has challenged one yet. Yeah, I don't think a Padre pitcher has challenged one.
I think Walker challenged one the other day. I think that was the first one.
Yeah, I mean it's such a new system. It's such a weird thing to try to get used to. As a matter of personal preference, do you care? I mean, is it more enjoyable for Mason Miller to strike somebody out swinging or looking?
I don't really care. They count the same to me. I think swinging is they're both good. It's like I executed a chase pitch or executed I set up the path to get to a strikeout looking. I don't strike out that many guys looking, but I feel like I don't really discriminate on strikeouts. They're all my favorite.
That is such a great answer. I do wonder, like, if it's more satisfying to watch a guy just like to give up on, or just go, hey, listen, I got no chance, so I ain't swinging anyway. Like, so I'm just gonna leave it up to the umpire here, right? Like, because I'm done, I'm toast. I got no chance in this situation. See, I'd want them swinging because they look ridiculous, twist themselves into the ground.
Yeah, that's usually the way that goes, anyways. That's the more likely effort too is swinging over looking. I think it's probably like 85% swinging at this point. Maybe like four of my 38. I can think of four looking, 5 looking, I guess. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more than that.
Mason, just a couple of quickies before we let you go, because I know you have to get. Are you a coffee person?
Not as big as the next guy, but I'll probably get something. Yeah, like if I go get breakfast, I'll get a coffee. I'm not big on like I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and just get a coffee.
Okay. So Michael King, when I spoke to Michael King a little while ago, he said that before he takes the mound, he has to psych himself up, right? He has to get mad at something. He'll invent being a reason to be angry, and he uses that fire. How do you get fired up before you're about to go ahead and take the mound? And I was telling Darren before you came on, you're like the most chill person I have ever met in sports. Like this, Darren, the way Mason is right now, this is how he is pregame. This is how he is postgame. You're just super even keeled all the time. How do you go ahead and flip that switch when you pitch?
I think that's what competition brings out in you. I mean, I do have the luxury of like the game kind of builds to the point of when I get to play. So 7th inning, 8th inning, I feel like the adrenaline starts going, and I just start moving around the bullpen and throwing and just getting the opportunity to play is kind of like all the energy I need. I mean, I feel like I definitely have more emotion on the mound than I do like normally, but I do think that like the even keel attitude is also what allows me to have a lot of the success I do, because I don't get too high. Like my mound presence on Saturday with the bases loaded was pretty similar to how it was with nobody on and striking 3 guys out. Like that is something that that I try to do, because I look at that as something that I can control. I'm not, starting to panic or letting things speed up on me when guys are on base, and I'm not like overly confident, I guess, with nobody on base. It's like I'm still executing like I could get hurt here. I'm gonna be fine with my pitches. I'm gonna be in the zone, but I'm also gonna respect the hitter in the box, and know that we're playing a close game here at the end, and every single pitch matters.
Mason, my final question on the way out. Marty and I once did an interview with Houston Street a million years ago. And when Houston Street was closing for the Padres, he wore the number 16. I don't know if it's a superstition or if it's a routine, right? Routine. We're not superstitious. We're routine oriented, as Trevor Hoffman said. But he used to set the alarm or arrange for wake up calls based on the number 16. So like 9:07, right? Like 9/7/16. 10:06, 16. Do you have any routines or superstitions, if you prefer? Is there anything, whether it's on the field, off the field, preparation, game day, is there anything in your universe that you would put in that kind of category as Houston Street for us?
I would say not till I get to the ballpark. No, I don't have like an alarm system or anything like that. I don't know. To this question, I always just said like left sock first, but that's just more
Left
of a
side.
habit, I think. I don't like I do that if I'm I'm sitting here and going out, or if I'm going out to the field, like left sock first, right sock, left shoe, right shoe. That's about it. I mean,
Okay.
I've had I had the same pair of socks for pretty much my whole scoreless streak. Then I threw them out when I was done. But
Did you wash them? The same pair of socks?
yeah. They get washed. Yeah, I'm not some animal.
I just want to make sure.
And you tossed them? I mean, people would have paid good money for that, man.
They had a hole in them, so they were like on their last legs, anyways. But yeah, I mean, I'm aware of certain things that have been the same for a while. But what are you gonna do?
Mason.
That's kind of like I've done that with cleats in the past too. Like if I gave up runs, I'd take my cleats off after and just throw them out. But I've stopped doing that. So
You should have
just
sent
the
those socks to the Padres Hall of Fame. There's a Hall of Fame out there in the Western Metal Supply Building.
Nobody,
Mason Miller's
nobody
socks
wants
should.
that. Nobody
You
wants
should have
that.
sent them to Clay Meredith. Yeah,
Yeah, we
nice sock.
sent Wally a ball, so maybe I think we're seeing if they want to come to any of these East Coast trips and maybe meet up before a game on the field or something. But yeah, that was a cool video that they sent. That was awesome of them to do.
Mason,
All right,
congratulations to you and your
we've
wife.
taken
You
up
guys
too much
are-
of your time.
I'm sorry, you're expecting your first baby. So huge congratulations to the expanding Mason Miller family. That's freaking awesome. Love it.
Thank
You
you, guys.
have your own
Thank
baby Yoda coming.
Yeah, maybe we'll have the force too.
Yep. Oh.
Love it.
Thank you very much for doing this, Mason. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
Yeah, guys,
Mason.
you
You're
got
the
it.
best. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, it is time for Daily Dingers presented by FanDuel. Marty, I do not know, are AA players eligible for this contest? If they were, I would think about a certain Padres prospect who is just homering every time I log on to social media. I don't think they are, though. I don't think they are. But anyway, if there was a Daily Dinger opportunity, I certainly think you wouldn't go wrong with Ethan Salas right now. But it is for big league players, Marty.
Yep.
And I am not going to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. here. I'm just not. I just I think I think we've just passed the point where we can talk about him in Daily Dingers. So I'm going to move on. Who are you betting on here? Who's going to, hit one over the wall for the Pods here?
All right, my pick for the FanDuel, my dinger pick, Darren, is going to be Nick Castellanos. He's getting a bit more playing time. I know you talked about yesterday about how he is actually showing his worth for the Padres. Over the last 6 games, he is 6 for 18 with an 8.72 OPS. So I think that right now, Nick Castellanos, given the extra playing time, D. Smith, is trending in the right direction. So that's my pick. He may hit a home run in Milwaukee. May not come off the Miz, but he will hit a home run with his own bat. He won't need to borrow Fernando Tatis's bat. You going with the double? You
won't need Wonder Boy to hit one over the wall. No, he will not do that as well. That's a pretty good pick. I like that one. You know who else is starting to heat up is Jackson Merrill.
Ooh.
Jackson Merrill's starting to heat up a little bit too. I mean, if we're just going to limit this to Padres, I guess, then, that's somebody who, and Manny, I think, embracing the villain role. I know it's not looked good for Manny, but this is a place where he gets booed all the time. And
everywhere.
I think Manny kind of secretly likes that. I do. I think he kind of enjoys being the villain role and being able to shut up tens of thousands of people in Milwaukee. So if I can't pick a minor leaguer, which is, sort of commentary on the current affairs of the big league club, I'll just say, Manny will play the villain role here. So we'll go with that as well. As far as what it is we're talking about Daily Dingers. So, this is courtesy of FanDuel. Joining the action is easy. Make a free pick. Who's going to hit a home run? That's all. If you're right, you're going to get a profit boost. You can use it on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. So if you're ready to play your game, head over to FanDuel.com/podcast. Get started. FanDuel.com/podcast. Opt in. Daily Dingers. Make your free pick. Who's going to hit a homer? Play ball. Swing for the fences on FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
So good stuff there with Mason Miller, huh, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, there was more. Like, I mean, there were other things. I really wanted to, he's a guy who you might remember earlier this year, Marty. And again, I know it's sort of ancient history, but remember, he's a guy that grew up not too far from Pittsburgh in Bethel Park, I want to say.
Yep.
And I did want to ask, because I remembered he got put into a game, the final game of that series in Pittsburgh. Even though it was an 8-2 game, there's no reason to put Mason Miller in this game at all. Craig Stammen did it, though, just to do his closer a solid. And, I wonder what Mason Miller learned about his manager in a situation like that he cares about an individual, right? So anyhow, I know, we didn't get to it, and I'm sure we already talked about it. But the thing I think that's enjoyable about talking to a guy like Mason Miller is, and I remember this very specifically, and so do you, from talking to Trevor Hoffman throughout the years, is that Trevor was more comfortable talking about his individual success because individual success for closers usually means a good thing for the team. Right? When you're talking about saving 600 plus ball games, those are wins. Those are teams. Those are games that your team won. The Padres, Marty, are 17-1 when Mason Miller appears in a baseball game. So I think it gives them maybe a little bit more latitude. If you had a player on this team who was banging 320, and the team wasn't winning as much, you'd be like, yeah, okay, this guy's kind of all digging himself. But for Mason Miller, good things happen. They're 17-1 when Mason Miller appears in a baseball game. So, I think it reminds me a little bit of those great conversations that we had with Trevor, where it's much easier. You're more comfortable talking about your individual success in this team sport, because if we're talking to him about his success, it means the Padres probably won.
I completely agree. And I can't believe that Mason Miller does not get a suite in the haunted hotel.
Not yet.
Not yet. And I did not mean to say that the Padres offense is haunted. I can't believe I said that. Should I cut that? I didn't mean to say that.
No, you should keep that. That's maybe the best line that you've ever had here on Friar Territory. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe these guys need an exorcism.
So who gets a suite?
They got 4.
Manny.
Got 4.
Manny gets a suite. Manny, Fernando, Xander Bogaerts 100%. That's it. Anybody else? Who else gets a suite?
I mean, Michael King's making pretty good money now, too. He's not in that rarefied era, but he's making some pretty good money.
Yeah. The ace of your rotation. I would agree.
Yeah. I would say so. I would say those are the kind of players that are on that side of the building. So, yeah, there is this famous – I mean, there are players in the past who just refused to stay in that hotel because they did believe in that. They're like, no, I'm going to go stay in a hotel down the road. Maybe there was some other motivation there, but not the point. People do believe in this sort of thing.
Mason would not say it, but he is definitely superstitious. He's a pitcher. Pitchers are all weirdos.
I would have bought those socks. Not to be weird, but I would have purchased those socks.
Would you have worn them?
No, I wouldn't have worn them.
You just keep them, like, you display them. I'm telling you, they should be hanging in the Padres Hall of Fame, right? You've been there, right? In the Western Metal Building, our old original Mighty 1090 Studios. It's now a suite for the Hall of Fame. But you go in there, like, there's a Jake Peavy display. There's Jerry Coleman, Randy Jones, Winfield, Garvey. Mason Miller's socks should be hanging in there, 100%.
I'm not kidding when
it's
I said
not too late to get them.
I would have purchased those.
Okay, so next time
people buy. Who was the player who spit out a wad of gum and somebody bought the wad of gum off the turf? You remember that?
No.
Somebody can hit us up on that later. But yeah, people will buy all sorts of stuff. Who was the old TNT sideline reporter? Craig Sager?
Yes.
Right? Didn't Craig Sager have some pretty eclectic sports memorabilia back in the day? I think he did. Yeah. Again, you guys can look it up on your own. Little homework assignment for the next Friar Territory. He had some unique stuff in his collection. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So
different dude.
Yeah, I would have though. I'm not even kidding. I don't know what I would have paid for them, but I would have bought those. Okay. Does that make me sound weird? Is he never going to come back on the show?
No, he was. I love talking to Mason Miller. Good stuff. By the way, I do want to shout out, like, for my brother-in-law, right, Jack? He made the G6 to G7, the Dexcom wearable device that Mason Miller wears. Yeah.
All right. I do not know
Shout
anything about
family.
G6s or G7s,
I know.
but yes.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyhow, I guess such a good conversation with Mason Miller has kept us from talking too much about Matt Waldron today.
It was, yeah. Listen, we know that Giolito's coming back most likely this weekend, right? Probably against the Seattle Mariners during the Vetter Cup. They're going to throw Giolito right into the Vetter Cup. I mean, that's a lot. I hope he is brushed up on how much this rivalry means, Darren, at the Peoria Sports Complex, how much it really means to the people in San Diego, and most of all, what it means to Eddie Vedder. I hope Giolito is prepared for what's going to come when he takes him out, I guess, on Saturday. But listen, it sounds like Matt Waldron knows what's coming if you read his comments to the reporters, to Kevin Acee, to AJ Caswell. Like, dude, I know I'm out of options. It kind of is what it is. It's a business. You have guys coming. What the Padres needed, Darren, they needed the Matt Waldrons, the Walker Buehlers, Germán Marquez, as short as his time was with the Padres, to do enough until they got their resources back. Canning's already back. He goes, tomorrow? And then now we'll see with Giolito. So, I mean, it is what it is when it comes to this business. But Matt Waldron was an important part for the Padres a couple of years ago, but it seems like right now he just does not fit what the Padres need in their rotation or in their crowded bullpen. So we'll see.
You never know.
No, you never know.
I mean,
maybe they'll figure something out.
Clear waivers all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Seems like it happens a lot with the Padres too. So
it does.
You never know. You might see this guy again somewhere down the road, or maybe not, or maybe that was it. And thanks for the memories, but not going to spend too much time thinking about it. We'll have another Friar Territory sometime between now and the end of the week.
Yes.
With the day game coming up on Thursday and my schedule, but you can subscribe to Friar Territory on YouTube, wherever it is that you get your podcast. So that way you're not going to miss a single episode. You never know what we're going to be talking about next. Thank you very much. Go to friarterritoryshop.com. If you're an expecting father or a couple like Mason Miller, you can go find some
onesies,
some great onesies for all the little papooses, for the little babies out there. So all sorts of stuff for adults. We appreciate it. Thanks so much. We would appreciate a good review. And we'll talk to you next time. From Marty, I'm Darren. Thanks again to Mason Miller. See you next time on Friar Territory.